I'm wrestling. You're not weak for me. Celebrate what I am. Celebrate what I have been. Celebrate what I represent. And celebrate the many ways I have impacted your life. I will survive this test as I have survived others. I am forever etched into the very fiber of all mankind. The world needs me. Time is on my side. History guarantees me. I am wrestling. Do not wait for me.
What's up, everybody? This is episode 28 of the T-Row and Funky Show, brought to you as always by Defense Soap. I'm your host, Ben Askren, joined as always, except for last episode, by my main man, Tommy Rowlands. And Tommy, I'm actually at HQ of Rudis right now, and you didn't even show up.
I know, man. I'm not even on my fancy pants microphone either. I'm out traveling on the road here in between facilities that I work at. Thank you for coming and visiting Rudis. Obviously, really appreciate that. But I'm excited to be on our podcast.
Nice.
However unprofessional we may sound, you're holding it down for us today, so I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. And thank God that we pre-recorded that one episode because Central Asia Internet would not have gotten the job done, Tommy. It really wouldn't have.
Well, you did a good job. I finally listened last night with Steiner, so I thought you held it down good for episode 27.
Yeah.
Gave the people something to listen to, something to be excited about, and I couldn't be more excited about what we got going on today.
Yeah, so we haven't told anyone yet.
I know,
Well,
I know.
Go ahead, break the surprise.
Okay, got it.
So we got Aymar. He should be calling in any minute now. Which Tommy just told me that Aymar is actually his favorite college wrestler, and you know what? He might. If I take my Missouri bias out of there, he's definitely very, very, very close to my favorite wrestler, also.
Well, yeah, of course. If I have my Ohio State bias, he's my 11th favorite college wrestler. But when I remove it,
11's good.
When I remove it, he's my favorite. All seriousness, no. Stylistically and just his overall mentality, and even what he says into the microphone when he's interviewed. Overall, even with my Ohio State bias on, he's my favorite college wrestler to watch and listen to and things like that. There's some Buckeyes I really like too, but he's the guy, man. I think he's just the way that he wrestles and competes is just exciting. It's fun.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And obviously, we got the big news last week that Jason, that he'll be bumping up to 165, which means we won't get to see him and Jason Nolf go at it, which we got 3 of those this year, and it was freaking fantastic. I mean, every single match was good. Obviously, Aymar will say only 2 of them were good because he only won 2 of them. But from a fan's perspective, they were all really awesome high-level matches.
They were all outstanding. I remember going into the first Nolf-Aymar match, which now it sounds ridiculous, but going into that match, I thought it was going to be at least a major decision, but win for Aymar. And so, to me, and it might have been late to the party, but to me, that's when Nolf arrived on the college scene in a way that was meaningful, and he has not disappointed since. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's 100%. I mean, that's no doubt. That's when Nolf arrived. I mean, there was potential before that, but when you go in and you beat Aymar, that's when you arrive. So. Yeah, that was definitely Nolf's coming out party. I don't know. He's 2 minutes late. We have to shake him down. Do you want to talk about Nolf this weekend at UWW's?
Yeah, I don't think this changes his level of dominance or the type of collegiate wrestling, folk-style wrestling career he's going to have. I was a little bit surprised, but not entirely, that Mark Hall took him out. Because when you watch Nolf, and this is not an indication of his future Olympic, aspirations, but he's just not a natural freestyler, Ben.
Yeah.
And
I don't think he grew up doing it, right? He didn't grow up
doing it. Even if he did grow up doing it, it's not a natural way for him to wrestle. Whereas, ironically, someone like Aymar, I think that the way that he wrestles stylistically, I think it matches up well with freestyle.
Sure.
I was a little bit surprised, though. All those things considered, I was a little bit surprised and impressed with Mark Hall that he took Imar out, fairly decisively in 2 matches.
Yeah, I agree. And, even prior to that, Taylor Massa had Jason Nolf on the ropes, which we all Taylor. Logan Massa, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, so he had him
who
on those.
gave Derringer a pretty good match in the finals of the scuffle, too. That's the last time I watched him.
So now with Imar bumping up, we're going to have some pretty interesting matches at 165 the next couple of years. We got some really, 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 really good young bucks coming in.
No doubt. So who's the list of the contenders for Imar at 65?
Right now it's thin. Isaac Jordan. Is he calling in? Okay, he's calling in.
Okay.
Are you guys on Eastern time?
We are. I am actually in Ohio right now at Rudis HQ. Tommy's in Ohio also. So we're on Eastern. Where are you right now? Are you in Illinois or California?
Yeah. I was thinking 12:10 Midwestern time or Central time.
Okay.
Hey, Isaiah,
no big
Tommy
deal.
here, man. It's Tommy. Ironically, I'm not with Ben, even though he's at Rudis HQ, which is a company I'm a part of. But I'm traveling on the road here in Ohio on my phone, so I'm not on a good microphone. But hey, man, thanks a lot for coming on the show. We're big fans.
Oh, no worries, Tommy. Where are you traveling to? What are you traveling for?
I'm traveling in between facilities, so I work for a produce company. We have a manufacturing facility out in the middle of Ohio, and we have a sales office in Columbus. So I'm going from the manufacturing facility to the sales office. I couldn't make it to Ben's visit to our HQ, so a little disappointed.
Oh, dang! So taking care of some business right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, trying to get it done.
And we were in the middle of a discussion about your potential contenders next year at 165. So do you even think about that? Do you know who your contenders are? Or you're just like that's the other guys. I'm coming to the mat.
Of course I think about my contenders.
Okay.
I do it for fun, and right now it's not too serious, but
Yeah.
when making the decision to go up and stuff, you obviously got to think about who's there and the potential matchups. So yeah, I definitely think about who's going to be there. I have a feeling that on a few guys. I mean, there's a few returning All-Americans and that are pretty good. So I'm looking forward to those kind of matchups. With like Isaac Jordan. I'm pretty sure he's going to stay there.
Yeah.
I wrestled him when I was a redshirt actually at the Midlands. And there's Daniel Lewis, and I don't know if the other Jordans are going to stay at 65, but there's always young guys coming up. So there's definitely a lot of guys I have my eye on.
Yeah, definitely. So
hey, Ben, before you get going, can I ask one question? Because I know you got the
You can have as many questions as you want, Tommy.
I got one, Imar, because it's interesting to me because we heard countless rumors. Noel Thompson came on our show and said you were going to wrestle at the Olympic trials at 45 and a half. I think that's the weight class. And, when I looked at your build in the college season, I was like, yeah, it doesn't look like Imar's cutting a ton of weight. He could probably pull it off if he's weighing in the night before. So to me, physically looking at you, it's believable that you can get down to 45 and a half. And then now you're going up to 65. So are you going up because it's best for the team, because it's best for you? Like, physically, why are you going up?
Are we on air right now?
We've been on air. We don't stop.
Oh, that's fine.
You're on the air, brother.
Okay. The plan was initially to try to go down, but mid-season I started growing, and the cut to 57 got pretty challenging. So I'm not going up for the team. I'm going up because I started growing this season. So the cut got a little uncomfortable at 57, and I think some people were starting to notice that, and I started to notice that I wasn't comfortable at 157 towards the end of the year anymore. I don't know why I was going. I figured that I'd be done growing, but my muscles started growing a little bit, and it became a lot more uncomfortable to make 57. So right away, I knew I was going to go up after the national tournament.
So did you? Did you get real beefy after season? What are you up to? What are we talking about here?
What's that?
I said, did you get beefy after the season? How big are you right now?
Me, I'm about 175. I'm not too big.
So you put some pounds on, for sure.
I'm short, so So I grow sideways. I don't go like too big. I just if I don't maintain and watch my weight, I put on weight pretty easy. So right now I'm just lifting hard and then keep maintaining my weight so I can go 74 kilos for the universities. And I'm even thinking about going 70 kilos if when we figure out the trials process for the non-Olympic World Championships, because I'm definitely interested in doing that too.
Yeah, I had that on my list as a question for you. Because I saw you retweet or maybe made a comment. So they're doing the Worlds at 70 kilograms in December, which kind of crosses over with the college season, obviously. But we did see some guys. Nick Wisdowski did some freestyle. Adam Kuhn did some stuff. Snyder, obviously. So there were some guys that set the precedent this year doing some freestyle stuff during the folk style season. So how seriously are you looking at going to challenge for the World Championships at 70 kilo?
In my mind, I think I'm 100% bought into trying to make a world team right now. So, it obviously things change with time and depending on what the situation with the team is. It might alter my commitment, but right now I really want to make a world team, and just because I've never wrestled overseas, and I think it's time to make that next jump. A lot of guys my age are already making that jump, like Jaden. Like he's killing it out there. He's doing crazy things. I mean, he's the same age as me, and so I figure, why not try to make the same jump that those guys are making, and just position myself to possibly be one of the best in the world towards the end of the year.
100%.
So Ben or Isaiah, are the trials going to be in Fargo?
I don't think they've said.
I have no idea. I don't know if they've settled on the process they're going to go with yet. But I'm keeping my ears open because I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, I don't think they've said so far. So I think it's a wait. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but for you, it's wait and see. Yeah,
but I don't know.
So if you make the university team, when are the world championships for the university? Because I don't know the answer to that either.
I probably trying to do both.
No, if you make the world championships, when are those?
I think they're in September.
Okay.
The beginning of September.
Nice.
So it's going to be during the school year. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to go if I make the team. So. Handling school and trying. I've never been overseas to compete, or I've never competed against someone who didn't wrestle for the United States.
Yeah, that's interesting, huh? Okay, I want to take it back a little bit, Tommy. I wanted to take it back from the start, but we kind of got going, and it's all good. So obviously, Flo put out that little feature on you, Isaiah. That was probably last year, maybe.
Yeah.
So, we got a little glimpse into your childhood, and it was, your dad didn't wrestle, and you guys didn't have a strong wrestling background. So I want to know, in your mind, and maybe it's a mental thing, because I remember for me, I remember watching you against Alex Cisneros. I believe it was maybe a freak show, or it was a fall event, and you lost, but I was super impressed. And I said, this kid's going to be something. And I want to say maybe you're a freshman or sophomore. But for you, when was that point for you that you said, like, I'm going to get really serious at wrestling. I think I'm going to be really good at wrestling. I'm going to go and wrestle in college. Like, when did that happen for you?
Oh, wow. That was during my sophomore year in high school, and I did end up losing that match. It was a heartbreaker. But I think...
wait, I don't mean to interrupt you. I did bet someone $20 that you were going to be better than Alex Cisneros after watching that match. So I won.
Do you think you're going to win the bet, Ben?
I won the bet. It's freaking over. Give me a break.
You're welcome. But
yeah.
I think when I started getting into high school, that's when it kind of, things started clicking. Like this sport might take me into college and give me an education and bring me to the higher levels of wrestling. When I was younger, it was kind of just something we did because I was good at it and I enjoyed it, and I didn't really ever know too much about NCAA wrestling until I was maybe a teenager, and so that's the first time I ever watched the NCAA finals. I believe it was the year that Caldwell wrestled Metcalf, and I fell in love with NCAA wrestling right then and there. I was telling myself, that was what, 2008 maybe.
No, that was
maybe
10. Maybe was that 10?
But yeah, it was a while. It was fairly recent, and that's just what made me fall in love with the NCAA wrestling. So after that point, I was like, I want to be on that stage someday, and ever since then, I started looking forward to wrestling in college.
Nice. So I guess the next obvious step there is how do you pick Illinois? I think I know the story. I think there's some Mark Perry connection here, but I'm not 100%. So how do you go and get to Illinois? What's the story there?
I think it's a little bit of a lot of aspects. I wanted to wrestle in the Big Ten. I was kind of dead set on being in the Midwest and being a part of the Big Ten, most prestigious conference. That's just something I've always wanted to do because I guess I like to challenge myself. And I mean, there's a lot of great conferences now, but at the time the Big Ten was the premier conference. So
you don't have to be PC. You don't have to be PC on our show.
Huh?
So you don't have to be PC if you want to say everyone else sucks and the Big Ten rules. You're more than welcome to do that.
And if you want to say that the Big Ten was better, if you want to say the Big Ten was better than the Big 12 in the early 2000s, you could share that with Ben too.
Tommy, he was a child. He just stated he didn't start watching NCAA wrestling until 2009, so he can't comment on 2004. So Isaiah, this was ancient history to you.
The Big Ten is where it's at, my man.
Stop! You were like 6
go.
years old. You were 6. Give me a break.
It's not just the tournament, it's the duels, it's the fans, it's everything. The Big Ten is where you want to be.
Listen. Just go ask Mark. Mark was around during that time period. Although he might be biased because he was a Big Ten guy. From the period of, say, 2002 to 2008, somewhere in there, the Big 12 was the toughest conference.
Go ahead and ask Mark. I think Mark's got my back, Ben.
I don't think so.
You mean Oklahoma State was the toughest?
No, the whole Big 12.
Which was pretty much Oklahoma State.
Stop! You two are just antagonizing me.
I mean, Oklahoma State was nails back then. I mean, they were. I don't know if that could pull the whole conference above the Big Ten, but
we had every team. Listen, Isaiah. Let me break this down for you. Every team in the Big 12 was ranked in the top 12 in the country at one point. 5 teams. All
three of them, Isaiah. All 3 of the Big 12 teams. It was amazing.
Oh God. Okay, let's go. Let's stop this. All right, Isaiah.
That debate will go on forever because I mean, if you're from a different conference, you're obviously going to be more biased towards your.
I think it's pretty factual. So sorry. We interrupted. I think we were telling us about how you were going to Illinois.
So I wanted to wrestle in the Big Ten, and this guy named Mark Perry was the new coach in Illinois, and I kind of knew the name because he was the old Cal Poly coach, and so when he started talking to me, we just kind of clicked on just about wrestling and the mindset, and the other coaches, Hef and Jeremy Hunter, they just kind of, I don't know, it was just a good fit, and we just clicked. They liked my attitude coming in, and some coaches maybe didn't like my attitude because sometimes I make statements, and I'm very proud of what I do, and I'm very I just want to shoot as high as I possibly can, and some coaches were telling me you need to you need to take it step by step, but the Illinois coaches were like, we love your attitude, and we want to get you there, and that was something that was really important to me, and so it was almost a no-brainer going to Illinois.
Wow. There wasn't a close second in that race?
Oh yeah, it was Oklahoma State was a close second. That's where my dad and my mom wanted me to go.
Really?
It's just, how do you say no to John Smith? It's history. It's 30-something national titles.
Yeah.
And, being a Cowboy, the orange singlet, the history, tradition. But I wanted to do my own thing and kind of set my own legacy. So that was important to me too.
Yeah, definitely. Tom, you got anything? Because I got a good one for it. It might be a tough one for you, Isaiah, but you told me nothing was off limits. So
yeah, shoot.
All right. So I had this experience with my brother because Max went 32 matches undefeated to start his college career. And actually, you want small world, because Tommy, J.D. Bergman walked into the office, and my brother wrestled J.D. Bergman the first match of his college career, and J.D. Bergman was ranked number 1 in the country. That's crazy.
I
right?
was in the corner for it, and I think you know that, and you're just trying to rub it in.
No, I didn't know that, but J.D. literally did walk in the building like 20 minutes ago. So anyways, so Max was ranked number 1 in the country, right? Pretty much right off the bat. He beats JD, and he beats someone else at Vegas, and he's ranked number 1, I think, like 3 weeks into the season. He ended up losing 33 matches in, and I was kind of always curious and just watching how is Max going to handle this pressure, because he wasn't like a Mark Hall high school wrestler. Max was good, very very good, but he wasn't the guy everyone looks at, And so he's going 32 matches undefeated. So he loses, and I think, okay, the pressure's gonna come off. He's gonna come back, be himself. But it actually kind of got a little worse after that. And obviously there's a lot of reasons. I don't really know why. But so you go obviously undefeated for 50-ish, maybe more than that. You take a loss, but you bounce back fantastic. And I think there was a lot of people questioning, how is he going to bounce back? Is the loss going to devastate him? But in my opinion, it made you better. I mean, I think you bounced back fantastic. What were your feelings after that? How did you react to it? Mindset wise, what are you thinking?
Oh, I mean, it was devastating to lose. It wasn't so much about the record as so much. It was more, I felt like I let myself down because I wasn't wrestling the way I wanted to wrestle or competing the way I wanted to compete. So taking my first loss it was pretty hard on me mentally. But again, when you're on a winning streak like that, and you lose, something goes wrong, you want to go back to the drawing board and scrap everything. But I have great coaches, and they kind of just calm me down because I'm only 21 years old. I'm fairly young, and so wow. I mean, saying I'm 21 years old, I don't really realize, but I still feel like I'm pretty young. So I still rely on my coaches a lot, mentally to get me through things. And so they kind of just calmed me down and said, nothing's wrong. You just gotta set your mind on winning the national title at the end of the year, because this was just one match, and we didn't truly expect you to go undefeated because everyone has off days. It doesn't mean that someone's better than you. He was better than you that day. And so they kind of just re-instilled that confidence in myself. And so instead of beating myself up for the rest of the year, I just focused on, winning and trying to compete the way I wanted to compete. And, Nolf was one of the toughest competitors I've ever faced in my entire life. But the way they just built me up, I was so confident going in that it didn't matter, what happened. If I got, put to my back right away, went down 5-0, I had the confidence that I was going to find a way to win, and that's because of what my coach was kind of talking through throughout the season. And so basically it was just keeping my confidence up, and that was the most important part.
Definitely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, I think hearing you say that, and I'm really not surprised by the very good answer that you gave, but it just reminds me, Ben, and Imar, I think there's a fine line for people who find success in anything, really, let alone wrestling. There's a fine line between arrogance and confidence. And, I think having that belief system that you have, I could tell that you're a confident guy. You said that on your recruiting process, maybe some people didn't like some of your comments. And I just think you have that conviction in yourself that allowed you to do a little bit of soul searching after a loss like that, coming on the heels of a good season, which is good stuff. And I'm not really surprised, but it's cool to hear how coachable you are. And I didn't know if you could speak to that, because, the second week you started talking about your loss, you immediately start discussing how you turn to other people to help you. I mean, how important is that in this process, this journey to win, another title? I mean, it seems like your coaches have been pretty important in guiding you through that.
Oh, absolutely. Towards the beginning of the year, with the passing of my father and things, and things just going wrong, and me trying to shoulder all that by myself was the wrong kind of thing to do. I kind of got lost in trying to handle everything on my own, and that was part of the reason why maybe I wasn't competing the right way and maybe that led to the first loss I ever had. But right after that, it was I had just kind of looked in and said, all right, I have to kind of give in and not, shoulder everything on my own, because I don't know, it's just kind of my personality to want to get things done on my own. But I do rely heavily on the people around me. I probably wouldn't be nowhere near as good or as successful without my coaches. And I think it's important to remember that the people around you are crucial to getting you to where you want to go in the sport. Even though it is individual, the coaching aspect and being coachable is huge.
Let's go.
Awesome.
Let's go a little lighter, Tommy. Who's your favorite fighter? Isaiah.
Who's my favorite fighter?
I know you like MMA, right?
I love MMA.
Who's your favorite fighter?
Awesome. I don't really have one.
Come on.
What about Ben Askren?
Yeah, that was the right answer.
Well, Ben, you just beat up dudes. It's not as entertaining because you just win so easy. So it's like and plus I never watched the one fighting championships. You have to pay for it. Usually I just watch. I got into a lot more mixed martial arts because of Jesse Delgado, because he wants to be a fighter.
I heard.
So
How's his training coming?
He's a killer, man. I think he's gonna be good.
I mean, where's he training at? Has he fought yet, or what's he doing?
He hasn't fought yet. He's learning how to box right now, and it's kind of funny. It's like watching a baby learn how to crawl and walk, because he's been wrestling all his life, and so he's always been good at that. And now he's going to a different combat sport. It's being like a beginner all over again. It's funny because he gets frustrated, and he's like, man, he worries about things a lot, but he's getting better. The dude's going to be a killer. I never imagined him being a mixed martial arts fighter, just because Jesse's such a nice guy, but like anyone else, he could flip that switch like no one I've ever seen before. And so I think he's going to be real good. But I like watching the UFC. I mean, I guess John Jones is probably my favorite fighter, not for his actions outside of fighting, but because he's such a killer in the octagon.
So are you picking him over Daniel?
No, absolutely not. I gotta support the wrestlers. Daniel. John was a wrestler, but I mean, Daniel was an Olympic wrestler, and so he sounds like a great guy. So I have to root for Cormier.
There we go.
That's awesome.
So when's Jesse having his first fight? Do we have a date?
I think Jesse will fight sometime in the fall for his first time.
That's pretty exciting.
How's Jesse doing health wise? I mean, I don't know, what was it, his shoulder or something at the very end of his career that was really, really banged up?
He tore his labrum and then tore his hamstring at the national tournament. He was banged up for a while. But
is he good to go now?
He's good to go now. He's building his body back up, and I think he'll fight sometime in October, an amateur fight up in Chicago. So he'll probably get a few of those in before he decides to go to like a major fighting company.
Well, that's exciting. I had kind of heard that Jesse was trying to fight, but I didn't. I guess I didn't know for sure. Yeah. So that's exciting. I'm excited to see him make his debut. I think he'll do fantastic. Wait,
he's my roommate, so I've been kind of watching.
Oh, he lives in Champaign still.
He does every now and then he'll come back and train.
Okay.
With some of the mixed martial arts guys, but he rents a room in my apartment.
Oh, okay. Wow.
There you go.
Nice. So, how about fighting in your future, or is it just wrestling?
I honestly don't know. I'm keeping my options open.
Good answer.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I could be good at mixed martial arts just with the tools I've been given. I feel like it'd be an easy transition, but how do you leave a sport that is giving you everything? I don't really know. I don't really know what I'm going to do in the future. Yeah. I want to win world gold medals, but I feel like there's a lot of problems with that, with going into wrestling right now, and it's getting better, but I feel like USA Wrestling has a long way to go still.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something Tommy and I've talked about countless times on the show. Is just, Tommy obviously wrestled his whole career and did not do mixed martial arts. I wrestled a little bit and then did it, and so I'm pretty frank about it. I did it for the money. You make a crap ton of money in MMA, and that's fantastic. And,
I mean, money is important. It's not everything, but you got to have some of it.
Yeah, of course.
And going down the wrestling route it's hard. It's hard on the mind. It's hard on the wallet if you want to have a family someday, and which I plan on having someday. So there's a lot of things that go with that, and I'm sure you know, Ben, as more than anyone else, is that sometimes you gotta chase the money a little bit, and
yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna do though. Yeah, so I like boxing. I like fighting. I think it's exhilarating when you get to hit someone and being in a fighting mentality. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I love wrestling and I love what I do.
What if you had to make the decision today? You gotta pursue the Olympics.
Does he get to finish his college career or no? Or he's got to quit college?
Okay, so let's say your college career is over.
Okay.
And the Olympics are in 2 months. You're not on the team, and you've got a 4-year journey to the next Olympics. Are you going into MMA, or are you going to train freestyle?
Oh, God, putting me on the spot. Honestly, I'd probably learn how to fight and go on with fighting. Right? If I had to make a decision right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, you'll only have 2 years though till the next Olympics. When you get done with college, so that's going to put you right in an interesting spot.
Yeah, so realistically, it'll be 2 years. Yeah, so let's talk realistically. There's 2 years. Is it still the same spot?
No,
putting the pressure on.
That's why I said that. If I had to make a decision now, I'd probably go into fighting. But when I only have 2 years after I graduate, I'm probably just going to train wrestling and go that route. But
good deal.
I'm hoping that the situation gets better for wrestlers across the country in the next couple of years, because I think that's really important with retaining our athletes. And with the growth of mixed martial arts, it's becoming more tempting for wrestlers to go over because there's money there.
It's interesting though it's interesting that you say all that though, because I think, and I don't know the network at the University of Illinois, but I've been around fundraising at the D1 Big Ten level, and I would think that Heffernan and Mark and everybody in tow over there will be able to scrounge together a pretty darn nice package for you. Nothing compared to what MMA could offer, but I think you'll be doing a little bit more than just scraping by, while you train for the Olympics. I mean, at least that would be my assumption. I mean, so it won't be that bad for you if there's any consolation.
No, I definitely think that it'll be a livable wage, but I don't know. It's just I love wrestling, and I would love to see the sport grow, and that's one big thing that's stopping the sport from growing even bigger, is that the wrestlers don't get paid enough for what they do, for the commitment and the sacrifice they make for their families and the programs that they're a part of, is that they're not compensated in the right way. And I would love to see more wrestlers be paid the right way, because it would make it a lot easier to stay in the sport for 10, 15 years after you're done with college. I mean, you look at it, and guys don't wrestle past 30, and I don't know if that's because of health, but you don't see many guys over the age of 30 that are wrestling, because maybe that fire dies, the motivation, the pay. There's a lot of things that go into it, but that's always fascinated me is because, why don't we have wrestlers who are, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32? Why isn't that as common in other sports? So that's kind of something that's always weighed on my mind. Is why don't we see guys who are a little bit older stay with wrestling? I know it's a hard sport, but I mean, wrestlers are the most driven, most passionate athletes I've ever met in my entire life. But you don't see many people over 30 who like to do it.
I 100%. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Not much argument from this side.
He did hit the nail on the head, Ben. But here's the real question, and I don't want to go off track.
Wait, Tommy. If rumors are true, though, some of these dudes starting to get paid. I guess we've heard some rumors.
They're getting paid
on some RTC, which didn't happen. That didn't happen 10 years ago.
They're getting paid a little bit, and the other thing, Ben, is this, and Isaiah is, and this is just the truth of the matter. But how much should you be paid when your sport doesn't make money?
Well, yeah, that's a
And
tough
so,
one. Uh-huh.
so I mean that becomes a whole nother podcast. But that's the freaking truth, man. How much should you be paid when your sport is not self-sustaining? Then the next question is, why is the sport not self-sustaining? Then we go down the rabbit hole, and we're not talking about Imar, and I don't want to do that. But that's the question right there, don't you think?
Yeah, it's got to be a professional venue for our athletes to compete in some way, or else, like you said, it's not making money, and essentially it's charity or some form of that, or whatever you want to consider it.
Right.
So, well, let's go. Let's move on. Wait, who's Mark Perry's favorite fighter? Isaiah.
I talk about these kind of things all day. I love talking about this part of the sport, and as much as I love talking about being an athlete, I love analyzing our sport and where it's at nowadays. But yeah, let's move on a little bit, something a little bit lighter.
Who's Mark Perry's favorite fighter?
What's that?
Who's Mark's favorite fighter? Perry.
Who's Mark's favorite fighter? Yair Rodriguez, Cholito, probably.
Oh yeah. That's a nice. Okay, so I got one more big question. That's all I got, and then after that we can shoot the crap and then be done. So my question is, you're from California, which is a huge powerhouse in wrestling. Troy Steiner just got the job at Fresno State, who's bringing back their program, and I had him on the show last week, and we talked about if you can keep the California kids home, you're going to win. And so, number one, do you agree with that statement about keeping the California kids home? And number two, how's he going to do it? How do you keep the California kids in California so you win?
I think that's partially true. You definitely do need to keep in-state talent in-state, and you need to be able to make your program lucrative to guys who are out of state, studs that are out of state. I think, Fresno State is very, very easy to get into. It's very cheap, so it's not something that there's not that many barriers for California kids to go there. There's like standards with the Cal State systems. I think Fresno State's only like $9,000 to go there. Nice. So it's really, really inexpensive. And if you're from the Central Valley area around Fresno, I think you only need like a 2.5 to get into the school. So there's not many barriers for kids to get into there, and so I think that'll make it a lot easier for guys to choose to go there just because of the cost. Around the Fresno area, it's a real hotbed. That's I kind of grew up about 20 miles from Fresno. So
which school were you? I was thinking about this.
Lemoore High School. Me and Christoph were in the same high school.
Wow.
So I'm pretty close to the Fresno area, and I think that's absolutely true because I know wrestling's a big deal in the Central Valley. So and it's getting bigger in other areas of California. In the southern parts of California, we have superstars like Aaron Pico who come up, the Valencias. So the talent in California is there. The thing is to keep the guys in the sport and keep them a part of a program that wants to win national titles. And I have no doubt they'll be good as long as they get the blue chip recruits in California and they could pick a few from outside of the state.
Huh. What do you think about?
It's interesting. Maybe I think Imar just did a great job interview for Steiner to be his assistant in 2 years and do MMA and freestyle at the same time.
Oh.
They started with your boy Zinkin at AKA. Ben, what do you think?
That's where Pico's going to be training, and I think Ed Rue's training out there also. They're training at no, they're not at AKA. It's what's it called? Dethroned Base Camp, I believe. Have you been out there? Ever?
No. I don't really know many of those guys.
Okay.
I don't know the Zinkins. I've met Aaron a few times, and so I've never actually trained any MMA or did any real boxing classes. Or
okay.
I just kind of stayed in Lemoore, in my small town, for most of my life, and so I didn't get out much until after I went to college.
So you never worked out with Pico?
I worked. He probably won't remember this, but I worked out with Aaron Pico one time. We were training for Fargo. He was I think in 7th grade, and I was a freshman in high school, and we were at the same camp up in Calvary Chapel, and he comes up to me. He looks real young, big old cheeks. He goes, "Hey, would you like to wrestle? Would you like to wrestle with me?" And I'm looking at this kid, and I'm thinking, he's like, why does he want to wrestle me? And then we start going, and I'm like, wow, this kid's pretty good. He's in 7th grade, but this kid's gonna do such things. Turns out, 2 years later, I find out that was Aaron Pico, and I'm like, that totally makes sense now.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, California is just pumping kids out right now. I mean, from you to the Valencias to Pico to Kate Olivas. I mean, California is freaking a factory right now. Just good kids coming out all over the place. It's amazing.
No doubt.
Well, Tommy, what else you got for Isaiah? Or Isaiah, what do you got for us?
What do I got for you guys? Who would win in a match between you two right now?
Tommy's like 240. Come on.
Yeah, you're being too nice. I'm even a little bit bigger than that, Ben. But yeah, I mean, size matters. Imar, you know that, man.
Dang.
So I'm taking.
Are you in shape right now? Are you training?
No, I'm not in shape.
Yeah, Tommy. What if I got you tired, Tommy? What if
So-
I got you tired? Then what? Then
So
what?
who would win a no holds bar match right now? You're in shape, Ben. Who would go?
Oh man.
In a what match?
No holds barred.
In a no holds bar.
How much gas you got, Tommy? How much gas? How many minutes can you go?
Listen, Ben. I mean,
Come
here's
on.
the deal. I'm in terrible shape right now. Okay, but at the end of the day, I'm 200. I'm north of 240, and size matters.
Well, I might be able to get you tired. You never know.
If I got tired, but I think I could end it quick enough. You know.
Oh man. It's gonna go out. You're gonna go at me like that. That's funny, Tommy. All right.
Well, yeah.
Well, now
You might have me.
Listen, and if I do get in trouble, I'm just gonna call up Kyle Snyder. So done deal.
Oh, jeez. There we go.
I haven't brought that up
Imar,
in like.
Imar, you hadn't called in yet, but I want to let you know if I've got my Buckeye-colored glasses on, you're my 11th favorite college wrestler. But you know, all things considered, man, love watching you wrestle, brother. Love the style. Love the comments that you have. Love the confidence that you have, man. We're really glad to have you on the show. Ben, do you got anything else or?
Not really. I mean, you know, he commented about being a fighter earlier, and I don't know why it was, but I felt like his, especially the last two matches with Nolf, I felt like those were like title fights. Like they were going at it, and especially that Big Ten one where there was not a lot of scoring, but there was a lot of action. It was just like two guys just going back and forth, throwing their best shot at each other, and it wasn't working. So, you know, I get that fighter mentality vibe out of you for sure. I see it 100%.
Oh, that Big Ten match was the first time I went to overtime in college.
Really?
That was the very first time I've ever been to overtime in college.
Wow.
It ended up going like 20 minutes. I was exhausted, and he was exhausted, and we're both known for having great gas tanks. And it was a fight. It was basically a fight, and oh man, that kind of match. Even more than my national championship match. I'll probably never forget that one because it was almost like that match was never ever going to end. It was like a 3 match.
Yeah, that was a freaking great.
It was crazy.
That was a great match. Well, all right, Isaiah, thank you for spending some time with us. Thanks for coming on. We enjoyed it. And obviously, best of luck to you, whether it's trying out for the world team this year or in your college season. And I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Good job, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, I think he hung up. Remember when Rovat snuck back on us?
Yeah, I know. Hey, I think that was a pretty juicy interview about MMA or freestyle out of college.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he liked fighting because I kind of know him and Mark Perry and Delgado, and I knew he liked fighting, but I didn't know he was, I guess I'd say that strongly considering the possibility.
I also, I mean, it sounds like he's kind of leaning towards it, to be honest, don't you think?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
He wants to do the Cale Sanderson, win 4 titles, and then have 2 years on the international scene, win the gold, bounce. I mean, that sounds like a pretty good plan, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the perfect plan.
Then head into MMA.
But
so,
the tough thing will be is
what weight would he go, Ben? We should have asked him that.
I mean, it's gonna be 63. Well, you know what? I bet they're gonna change the weight classes after this year. I mean, that's what Rich Bender. Well, that's what Rich was alluding to. Obviously, they're having discussions about it, so it's on the table.
Right.
Because I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking, as good as Mark Hall is, right? And Mark Hall is freaking fantastic. I mean, one of the better high school wrestlers of our generation. He might not make an Olympic team for a long, long time. If Burroughs sticks around through 2020, right? You're going to have Burroughs. Right. You're going to have Dieringer. You're going to have Aymar. I mean, those three alone, and then, I could throw in a lot of other people, but those three alone are like freaking wow, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
And then I would say Dieringer, I don't think he has any intention of fighting, so I wouldn't be surprised if he sticks around until 2024. And we're a long ways down the road by then. Who else knows who comes in by then? But I mean, with the only 6 weight classes, it's tough. It's obviously so tough to make an Olympic team these days.
Hey, so yeah, I agree. So let's do a little stud rule here, like an 8-year-old, reading the brackets when we're kids or something. He beat him by 3, and I beat him by 2. That means it's gonna be a 1-point match. That type of stud rule, reading tea leaves here, but Mark Hall beat Nolf handily, 2-0 in freestyle.
Yep.
Nolf and Aymar is a bloodbath in folk style. Do you really think that by transitive theory that Mark Hall can compete right now with Aymar in a folk style match?
I mean, that's what everything would point to, right? I mean, Mark did
but I just don't believe it. I don't believe. I agree.
Why
on
not?
Paper.
Why wouldn't you believe it?
Because I watched him get freaking smoke showed by Andrew Howe at the Olympic trials. I was 12 feet from it. Not that I was surprised. I think Mark Hall's fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
I think he's fantastic.
High school kids aren't supposed to be able to compete at the freaking Olympic team trials.
Right, so he gets
Who else
Andrew
did he
Howe.
get beat by at the Olympic trials? He beat Logan Massa right away, and then he lost to who the heck did he lose to? Was it Andrew Howe? And then who did he lose to on the backside?
He got. So let me finish my thought though. He got smoked by Andrew Howe. I don't picture Aymar walking on the mound with Andrew Howe and getting beat bad at all. I consider it being a highly contested bout.
Sure. Yeah, I would say the same thing. I would say I think if Aymar wrestles Andrew Howe, it's gonna be close. I would say the same thing.
I mean, that's just a little bit puzzling to me. I guess that's why you wrestle the match, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess obviously, like we talked about, Nolf is not a freestyle guy, right? He wrestles a few times a year, but that's it. But obviously, Mark's beaten a lot of other high level people. Hold on, I'm bringing up the bracket right now. I think it's a competitive match because the thing about Mark is he's hard to score on, right? He's got great scoring ability. He's very, very difficult to score on. And obviously he loves to compete. I mean, what kind of guy goes to Times Square on Thursday and then goes and wrestles on the trials on Sunday, right?
He loves to compete. But this Mark Hall that beat Nolf is the same guy that in the Dream Team Classic or whatever, I don't even know what it was called. Is it Minnesota versus USA? He wrestled Alex Marinelli, and he ended up beating him by 6 points.
Yeah.
But with a minute and a half to go, it was like a 1-point match, and Marinelli was in deep on a double, and Mark Hall scrambled out of it and wound up in like a 5-point move. And he won absolutely fair and square, very decisively. Not very decisively, but very, I guess, fairly, in my opinion. But I mean, he was in a dogfight with Marinelli.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know. This is the part where the denominator here.
The denominator we have to look out here. The math doesn't work. The math doesn't. That whatever you call the stud rule.
Let me tell you why the math doesn't work.
Sure.
Because we're talking about folk style freestyle, and the denominator that causes us to think about all this is Jason Nolf. And I'm just telling you, and we're getting high level discussion here. I'm just telling you, if everybody wrestled freestyle since day one at age 6, we would be a better country. Because we're talking about Jason Nolf. Oh, he's just not a freestyler. But I feel like Jason Nolf, with his commitment to the sport, growing up in the hotbed of wrestling, having Olympic champion coaches, if he knew freestyle and focused on it, he would have done much better with Mark Hall.
Yeah, and so
be better off.
Let me take this. So this is another one. Adam Hall beats Mark Hall 14-5. I mean, that's a pretty good butt whooping, right?
Right.
And I think it's Imar versus Adam Hall. You favor Adam Hall, or you favor Imar? You favor Imar, right?
I take Imar, and even if Adam Hall wins, it ain't gonna be 14-5.
I would be shocked. I mean, it's
right.
So so that's it. That's interesting. I just don't think the math works. I think it's a close match in folk style because I think Mark Hall is going to be difficult to score on. Now, would I favor? If you made me pick today, I think I'd pick Imar for sure, 100%. But
I pick Imar handily.
Handily,
but that I'm not taking anything away from Mark Hall. I mean, the fact that I'm talking about Mark Hall and how he would do against Imar really speaks more to how good Mark Hall is in high school.
Yep, 100%.
You know, I mean, I'm not cutting on the guy. I'm just saying he's not ready for Imar right now. He might be in a year and a half. You know.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I wouldn't be shocked. You know, I think Penn State hit the top three guys in the 74 kilo junior bracket. So I think.
What are they gonna do, dude? What are they gonna do? They got Vincenzo.
They're gonna wrestle,
and
they got Mason Manville, who didn't even wrestle, and then Rutherford. So none of them can go down.
Nobody's going 49 besides Rutherford.
Yeah, and then you got Manville, Hall, Chenzo Joseph, and Noel. I think you're gonna see.
And I would argue that definitely none of those guys can go 84, and I don't think any one of them's a 74 right now. Do you think?
No, none of those guys are 74.
So we've got 4 blue chip 57, 65s.
Yep.
And one of them can make themselves go 74. I can see Manville go 74.
Well, I think people are talking about Mark Hall going 74, but I'll tell you what, he doesn't look that big to me. He really doesn't.
No, he's too short too.
He's short.
I mean, when I say too short, I mean too short to do what he's capable of, not too short to be good.
It's not his ideal weight, is what you're saying.
Correct.
His ideal weight would be 65, and that's what it looks like to me. He doesn't look super tall. And then obviously they got Bo Nickel on that. I mean, this is a good problem. They got Bo Nickel at 74, which I wouldn't. You know, he lost to Valencia in both matches. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go up in weight class.
You think Bo Nickel's 84?
I mean, I think he fits 84 better than any of those other guys fit 74.
Well, that's true, but is that 84 his ideal weight?
Hey, did you see that no, I would say 74 is his ideal weight, but you never know.
Right.
Did you see what's this dude's name? Oh, Anthony Valencia versus Vincenzo Joseph. It was a freaking insane match. Insane. I mean,
really
wild.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, it was, and Valencia, he kind of hit his head in the middle of the match, and maybe that affected it going forward, but he was up by, I want to say 8, and Vincenzo Joseph came back and won 14-13, and then Valencia did default out after that, so.
Wow.
And how about Joe Smith? Joe Smith went 1-2 in this bracket. He's kind of.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe he's burnt. He needs a couple months off or something.
How about
Give him a break.
How about Valencia beating Bo Nickel
twice
and Mymar in the last months, the 2 NCAA finals? I mean, when was the last time you had a guy in red shirt beat both NCAA finalists at the weight that he probably would have gone this year?
That's a good question. Are you sure? No, he wouldn't, but he wrestled 184 at the Midlands.
Oh, he did. So you don't think he would have been 74?
I mean,
he's pretty big, dude.
Yeah, he doesn't. Well, he doesn't look super lean though. So I wouldn't be shocked to see him at 74. It wouldn't blow my mind.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question, Tommy. We got our fact checker. Our fact checker Mark is out here.
Even if it wasn't his weight,
let's say it is his weight. What red shirt has beaten both NCAA finalists? That's very interesting. I don't know. Wow, that's a good one. I'm not sure. That's a good question. Throw it out there. So yeah, I don't think that's ever been done, Tommy. But Twitterverse out there, see if you can see if there's anyone who's ever beaten both NCAA champions as a red shirt. I don't think it's been done.
Yeah, man, I'm interested in that. I bet it hasn't been done. Ben.
Well, cool. Well, I think that was a fun interview with Imar. Got some good stuff about him possibly going to MMA, which he'd be fantastic, obviously. I don't need to say that.
No.
You got anything else for it? Your boy Jesse got us some food, so I'm about to go eat some lunch and check out some sweet Rudis gear. If my backpack's a little swollen on the way out, hopefully they don't stop me.
Jesse hooks you up and sends you away with a big, bunch of swag.
Sounds great, man. All right, I'll see you soon.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
All right, see ya.
See ya. Bye.
You are listening to the T. Rowe and Funky Show, and it is brought to you by Defense Soap. Defend what you've built. Tommy, I gotta say, I tried these products. He shipped me a box. I love them. I've had, if you know me, I've had ringworm issues for a long time. So I'm looking forward to putting these in my repertoire and hoping the ringworm does not come back ever.
No doubt, Ben. And to top that off, the company was created by wrestlers. Guy Seiko wrestled at Cleveland State University. His son was an All-American in Virginia, so these people really get it. They know what the wrestling community needs.